Welcome to the System Simplified podcast, where we feature top leaders who share stories on how to successfully systemize a business. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hello, this is Klevit, the host of the System Simplified podcast, where we interview top founders, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders about systematizing a business. And this episode is being brought to you by Business Success Consulting Group, where we create, document, and implement processes and procedures for businesses so they can grow and thrive. And today's guest is Tetiana Tasyts. Hi, Tetiana.
Hi, Adi.
It's so good to have you on the podcast.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, your story is so inspiring. You know, you have a fantastic story of grit, courage, persistence, and truly being an entrepreneur. And, you know, your bio is just fascinating, how you started from nothing and created this amazing business that we're going to talk all about, and all about your approach to business and how you like systems and how systems actually help you grow the business. And I was going to read your bio, which is amazing, but I think it'll be better to hear it from you, that story about, you know, how you were born in Ukraine in a small town, pretty poor, and then how you learned by yourself, you taught yourself, how you graduated university, started your businesses, and what it is today. So I actually would like to hear it directly from you. So why don't you tell us your story?
Thank you so much. Yes, I was born in Ukraine in a very small place. And, when I was 5, I looked around, looked at my parents, looked at my neighborhood and people that lived there and thought, well, I have to take out of here someday because I don't want this lifestyle. And that was the decision. And then somehow I started working on it. I cannot say that I was totally aware what I was doing, but my path and my life just was aligned with the events and circumstances that were so important to me. So when I was in the 5th grade, I started to study English as a main subject at school. And there was a teacher. I was a bright student, so I had very good marks in all the subjects. And the teacher noticed me. And after one of the lessons, she came up to me and said, well, why not we do extra classes together? I will teach you more English because I see that you are quite an able person. And no worries, you will not have to pay me. Your parents will not have to pay me. You will just have to do whatever I say you to do. If you don't do my tasks, I will not do the extra classes with you. And it was a deal. I didn't know what would happen to me after, but we started the process with her and she worked with me 6 years. So those were friendly lessons, additional tasks, a lot of bringing me up as a person because she was quite intelligent and she wanted to give me everything she had as a person and as a teacher. And normally she asked me, are you going to be a teacher in the future? And I said, no. She said, right, you are. Teaching is not a very good job because people are not grateful for that. So you'd better do something else, more like progressive, not being a teacher. And I had this idea, and year after year, I was going to become to enter a pharmaceutical university or something, just because my parents decided that I would make more money if I have if I do something in that area. But it was not interesting for me. And when I was in the last grade at my school, something changed. There was an event and something changed in my mind. And I decided, well, I know English so well. That was my favorite subject. I'd better become a translator or interpreter or something because I will have a better future with it. But it was a bit late to apply for that university then, because it was, I think, March or something. And normally people do the applications before. Yeah. So it was a bit late. So they didn't take my application to that university, but they offered me university for pedagogical department. And believe me, I was crying. I was crying because I didn't want to be a teacher, but that was that slight chance to have more English and to be in that area. So I decided I will do that. So I created 3 main decisions when I was crying then. So I decided, okay, if I am a teacher now, or I will become a teacher, what will I do? I will teach at least at a private school because they pay better there and the students are better there. Okay, private school is okay. Then, well, I have to be a translator or interpreter or something like that. I definitely have to find that job. And just one more thing that I wanted for myself, that, well, maybe I just open my own school. I don't know where those thoughts were and why they came to my mind, but actually I thought that and went on. And when I was already doing my business in 6 years or 7 years after that, I just recollected those decisions and they all came true. So when I was at university, first I started to teach at a private school. Then I found a job as a translator. And right after graduation, my university, I started my business, and that was School of English.
That's amazing. First of all, it's amazing. It just shows your power, right? That you decide something and then it just happened and you really pursue that path. So, we're going to talk about the history in between, but fast forward to today. So what is your business?
My business is School of English. Now it's net of School of English, named Flash. And it's working all over Ukraine now.
And how many branches do you have?
Now it's a little bit different because before the war, we had 32 branches and 4 offices in different cities of Ukraine. After the war started, we went online. So we have just 1 office, but we still deliver all over Ukraine.
Wow. So you currently deliver all over Ukraine still?
Yes, and some other countries also, because many Ukrainians move to other countries, so they become our students from those places.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I totally admire you for doing that. That's, first of all, it's an example of how you created your business and then how you adapted because of those really unfortunate circumstances. And you're still helping your people and you're still spreading the education out there. And you also prove that, it's kind of like you can do business borderless nowadays, basically. So it's very well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's talk about the systems that you implement. Like how did you manage? So post-war, pre-war, you had several branches. You said 32? 32 branches all over the Ukraine. And how did you grow from an idea of starting a school when you graduated college, basically, to having this empire of schools teaching English?
As I said before, I started this school right after graduation. I just decided that, okay, I have many goals in life. And if I work somewhere, even 48 hours a day, I will not achieve those goals, So business was a good solution. And I decided, okay, I know how to teach. I knew how to teach. So I would start something like that. But of course, I didn't have money. I'm coming out from a very simple family and nobody had any business idea around. So I started in a small town where my parents lived because I could find some connections there. So I started there. I taught myself for 5 months. Then I hired a teacher, and then I hired a manager. And then we went to similar small towns around. And in 2008, we went to a bigger city of Ukraine. We had already 300 students and 19 teachers. But, first 4 years of having this business, I had no profit. And it made me demotivated. So I thought, what's happening? Am I doing a business or what? So it was a cognition that, well, maybe I am not a very good business person. I don't know something about it. So I went to a private consulting school. It's consulting and educational program where they taught me how to make business and make it systematical, how to what tools I had to have in my business, what tools I had to use as a CEO of the company, and how it should work. And there I got this, ideal picture of what a business should be. And then I found where the money is in that business. And I came to the idea that, well, educational business is not that financially good, if you want to make much money in this business, you have to have huge amount of students and a big net of schools. So then I started to build it.
Absolutely. Well, Tetiana, it seems like that was definitely a very successful decision to decide to go that route.
Yeah. Yes.
Great. Yeah.
Yes, it was quite expensive for me then. In comparison, the average salary in Ukraine was $150 per month. But the program cost me $12,000. And but that was a very good decision. And I started this project with Vysotsky Consulting Ukraine, and they use Hubbard management system that they help to implement in businesses, and mine also.
Fantastic. So you started implementing all those systems in your business.
Yeah.
And the result was?
The result was that within 1 year, I developed all the main business processes in my company, all the KPIs, coordination system, instructions for all the positions in my company, financial planning, that's where the money was. I built and developed a very good strategy because I knew that with those tools I could achieve new targets, new purposes. And what else? The main thing is that I managed to create a team of top managers in my company. That was the main purpose of that program, to have top managers that would manage the business.
Wow. So now those top managers, because you're not there, you are actually right now in the United States, you left Ukraine, and you still have your managers in the Ukraine, and you have about 100 employees that are in the Ukraine, and the business is basically running without you being present, right?
Yes, that's correct. That's a very big achievement for me. And yes, I'm free, on my business, so I can be anywhere on the planet. But of course, it doesn't mean that I don't work. I do work, but I don't have to be there physically. So let's say when the COVID started 3 years ago or something, and they were closing all the things, and we were totally offline company at the time.
Right.
So on Thursday, they told us that, well, you cannot go out offline. You cannot teach offline. And on Monday, all the production was already online. And what I did for that, I said, listen, girls, I suggest Zoom is a good system for us. Let's try to use it.
Before the pandemic or during those 3 days?
On Thursday, I told them, please try Zoom. And on Monday, all the production with 3,000 students was online.
Wow.
You see?
Yeah.
So it's a miracle. And when the war started, then again, the war started. Well, of course, everyone was shocked. We didn't work for 3 weeks. And then I was already in the United States, and I was communicating to them, the key people. And then in 3 weeks, I say, maybe we start something. Maybe we start doing something. They say, yes, we have to do something because actually we have to collect the whole team and just to produce. Okay, but we cannot take money now. People are shocked, so it's not very good. Let's start something social. Let's start free lessons. And it all started, and we were growing, and the stats are growing till this time. And 2 weeks ago, we made highest ever revenue. Highest ever, it means we never did it before. So, and it's war outside, So yeah, it's working because there is a team. There's a key people that are holding the whole machine, and they are managing it. And I'm a stable person for them. The one that no matter where I am, I'm always with them, and I put new targets and they go there.
That's fantastic. That is absolutely incredible. I mean, it is a success story by itself as an entrepreneur, right? To be able to step out of your business, be anywhere in the world by implementing systems, right? By having that consistency, by having your processes and procedures documented. And, but even doing it during times of pandemic or times of war is even more of a heroic measure here of what you were managed to accomplish. Okay, so now you are in the US. What's next? What is your vision right now?
Now, it's weird, but my team, they want new targets. When they feel like, well, it's order every way around them, they say, okay, what's next? So I have
what's
to
the next game?
Yeah, they want another game. They want something bigger. So now I've started a project of involvement of grants or investments into Ukraine, just because the circumstances are so good, but they are good for my type of business. And we can get to the leadership, like absolute leadership in the whole Ukraine. Now we are one of the biggest schools, but we want this leadership position. So all the business processes are ready. The whole team is ready. They know how to do bigger, no matter what. And yes, we are ready for X10, and let's go. So that's the main point now. And of course, the economical situation in Ukraine is much worse now, but people in these circumstances are actively looking for new opportunities, and English is one of the key points. By the way, I didn't mention that 80% of our students are kids and teenagers. Those are school children.
Okay.
And in Ukraine, parents are willing to invest into their kids' education, and they are doing it pretty well. So we continue. And another path is creating a separate branch here in the United States for those who moved here. very many Ukrainians and Russian-speaking people moved to the United States last year, and I think they will continue. And most of them don't speak English. On statistics, only 18% of Ukrainians speak quite good English. So we have a huge potential to grow. Yeah,
absolutely. So you're looking for grants in order to expand in the Ukraine.
Yeah. Yes. And to manage. Yes, and to manage the American branch also.
Fantastic. Okay, good. Well, if our listeners have any ideas or they want to help, or they have any connections, definitely they should reach out. And of course, if they also want to find more about your school, because right now, if there are Ukrainians in the US, they can sign up for your school, right?
That's right.
So is it only for Ukrainians, or is there any immigrants or any people that want to learn English?
At least they have to be Russian speaking, because actually I do have a very good methodology that could fit any non-English speaking person, but we have to adjust the materials to other languages like Spanish, etc. So
right now it's basically to the Ukrainian or Russian Russian speaking population.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Good. So if they want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
They can find me on Facebook. That's the platform I'm using all the time, or at LinkedIn.
Good. So it's give them, can they find you on Facebook? Of course, it's going to be included in the show notes, but let's say if they are right now just driving and listening and they want to contact you.
Yes, that's Tetiana Tasyts, Tasyts as a last name.
Great. Okay. I'm sure definitely it will be on the show notes, and make sure that people contact you. And Tetiana, thank you so much for being a guest on this podcast. It was an amazing inspiration. You have such a great story that it's just very, very inspiring and definitely very encouraging. And I wish you all the best and good luck with this, getting the grants and definitely expanding your operation.
Yes, thank you so much, Eddie, for the invitation. It was really nice to talk to you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the System Simplified podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.